Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Lopez from MoronLife.com.
I'm Derek McCaw from FanboyPlanet.com. We're two pop culture experts with our takes on what's got you geeking out.
Pleasure to finally get this show going to where we can have a meeting of the sites,
Right.
talk about the things we like, primarily nerdy geek movie stuff, or whatever just makes us interesting or interested.
Interested.
Yes.
I don't know if it makes us more interesting, but it is good to be working with you again
It is true.
after years where you were on the Fanboy Planet podcast
That's
as well.
true.
But we have faces totally made for audio, so we are going to video for this.
I just wanted to extrapolate on something that happened to me this weekend.
Are you okay? Let it out.
I went to some place this weekend to get cupcakes, and I won't mention the name.
Was that the problem?
No, it wasn't the problem, but in the window, one of the signs said "Winner of Cupcake Wars," and I've never heard of this. What is this Cupcake Wars? It almost like it's reminiscent of like Star Wars, of like the Clone War. Like when Luke's like, "You were in the Clone Wars." It almost makes me think of like, "You were in the Cupcake Wars." So it's like, are there
Yes,
veterans of the Cupcake Wars?
You've never had my mom's cupcakes.
Gotcha.
And all I know is cupcakes are popular.
Yeah, it's the new thing right now, and I don't know. I just think a war is something that cupcakes should not do. But
Cupcake
whatever.
skirmishes?
I digress.
Would you prefer?
I digress. Let's move forward to what might interest people, starting with our cover story.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, Derek, tell us what we're going to be dealing with this week.
About a week and a half ago, Marvel and Netflix jointly announced that they were going to develop, or they are developing, 4 television series that will premiere exclusively on Netflix, like Orange is the New Black, or Arrested Development, House of Cards, Arrested Development Season 4. That basically all the episodes would go live on Netflix at once, and you can just sit there, binge. They can find your pale, pasty body covered in popcorn like 2 days later. So they're going to develop 4 superhero series,
And
all
we've been showing the video of
interconnected.
This. Yeah, so which ones are they starting with?
Well, they're going to start with Daredevil.
Okay.
So a reboot. We'll pretend
Is Ben Affleck going to be in it?
No, we're going to pretend that never happened.
All right.
Because he's gone over to DC, right? Because he's Batman.
Right.
So we're going to start with Daredevil. They're going to go to Jessica Jones, who was on
star of Alias, but they can't call it
the series
Alias.
was called Alias, and then I think they changed actually the name of the series again in
comics.
It was
like The Pulse or something
Pulse,
like
right?
that.
She went to work for a newspaper.
Jessica Jones is a very interesting kind of. She was a private eye.
Absolutely great.
Kind of
she was a former superhero. She'd had a very traumatic experience involving the Purple Man.
Was that before?
Yes,
yes.
Okay. She was a superhero. She was retconned as a superhero named
Diamond?
I think Diamond, right? And then again, she had a bad experience with the Purple Man, and it lost her taste for being a costumed hero.
Right.
So she became just a private investigator. Now, the interesting thing about using Jessica Jones was that a couple of years ago, this had been in development as a pilot for Fox.
I remember that.
And the problem with that was that you couldn't actually utilize any other aspects of the Marvel Universe. Because Fox it's a separate deal. It wouldn't be connected with. It was going to be a standalone show. Whereas the comic book had been very clearly like the first
Tied
issue
into
was
other
she was dealing
comics,
with someone who was posing as Captain America.
I thought it was somebody that had video of Captain America's secret identity or something.
No, actually, but it turned out to be it was an
he was
imposter.
posing. Oh, okay.
So there was a storyline that they couldn't touch for the show, and now they can, because this is still, even though it's on Netflix, still being co-produced by ABC Studios, which is a sham cover story for Disney, which owns it all.
Right.
So
now, wait, can I ask you this?
This is going to be connected to the Marvel movie universe.
Now, is Disney going to be producing this like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or are we getting like different production companies?
Disney is not producing Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Officially,
they're only showing it?
It's ABC Studios producing.
All right.
So there's all these different shell companies, and we'll never understand that. That's Hollywood bookkeeping. And once we do understand it, then we'll be rich and we wouldn't be doing this little vidcast, right?
So after those 2, what are the other 2
Then they're
characters
going to go to Iron Fist.
Oh, that's a personal fave of mine.
I know it is.
Karate expert. Iron Fist came out of the whole chop suey 70s kind of kung fu fad.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but yes.
He
came out of the martial arts
fad
of the 70s after Enter the Dragon. They had Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu.
Right.
And then they had, while over at DC, they had Richard Dragon dragon kung fu fighter.
So Iron Fist is essentially billionaire, millionaire Danny Rand,
who
lost in the magical city of Kunlun, and trains to learn how to do the kung fu and the
focus
karate.
his chi,
right? Focus his chi.
And give him the Iron Fist.
Give him a thing unto iron. Isn't that how it goes?
You know it better than I
Yes.
do. That's one that you do know better than I do.
And then after that, we get the big enchilada, everybody's favorite.
Luke Cage.
Sweet Christmas.
A.K.A. Hero for Hire.
Hero for Hire.
So these 4 series will interlock and then come together in a mini-series called The Defenders.
Okay.
Now, I'm not sure if any of these characters
they're all a bunch of lawyers? Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Okay,
It'll be
got
called
it.
Marvel's The Defenders, so as not to confuse it
Okay.
with the obscure British series that starred Tony Curtis, because I know that's where you were thinking.
Yeah, and I think
That's
our fan
exactly
base
what
is
you were
all,
thinking.
they were
No,
all thinking
I
that.
know, because
The YouTube generation was all like,
because that
more
Moron
Tony
thing,
Curtis.
that Moron thing is all an act. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, they are going to basically 5 series there. So it's 4 series of at least 13 episodes
Okay,
each.
I was going to ask about episodes.
That's what they've said so far, and who knows if it's going to be more than one season, but what they're committing to.
What was Orange is the New Black? Was that 13 episodes?
I think it's 13 episodes. I haven't
Okay.
watched it yet. The beautiful thing about Netflix is it's still up there, and I will have
And you
no
can
one to
watch
blame
it
but
whenever.
myself if I'm not one of the first people to watch all 13 hours of Daredevil.
Okay. And how do we feel about this? From a fanboy, I know from myself, the Moron, I could go off on potential problems I see, but as a fanboy, what's the feeling? What are all the nerds saying?
I don't know what all the nerds
Okay,
are
what are all
saying.
the fanboys saying? What are all?
I think people are excited. It's all street level heroes. It's all doable.
Are we gonna get costumes? Are we gonna get what we want?
Well, that's what I would hope.
Okay.
Nothing's come out. We know that Drew Goddard, the writer-producer, is going to work on Daredevil.
Okay.
So there's some excitement about that. I will assume we're going to put Daredevil in a costume. Even when they did the Rex Smith as Daredevil in the Trial of the Incredible Hulk back in the 80s, it was a bad costume, but it was a costume. At least they did it.
Sure.
The problem with the costume actually wasn't so much the costuming as that they made it clear that he was blind when he was in costume. That was stupid.
I wanted to, if we're going to get 13 episodes, then let's develop a costume, let's develop a character.
Well, only two of those characters actually require costumes. Daredevil,
True.
you'd assume, has to have a secret identity, so there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And Iron Fist doesn't even need to have a costume, but I like his costume. So
if you're a billionaire going around,
you can dress any way
but
you
if you're gonna
damn
beat
well
people
please.
up for a living and use karate and all that stuff with the kicking and the chopping and whatever, I think you need a mask to protect your loved ones from retribution, right?
Right.
Jessica Jones, she doesn't need one, and Luke Cage, he's the street hero. He can have whatever.
Yeah, he just is.
Although I would please Netflix, if you guys are listening out there, give him a tiara. Give him a tiara, please.
No. The
I
tiara
don't like the bald
the
Tate Diggs
tiara
black look.
is the
I don't.
Stupidest.
Give
No,
him a
because
fro
you know what I
and give
want.
him a tiara.
No, you know what I want. I want Terry Crews to play Luke
Terry.
Cage.
Okay, here's the thing. I love Terry Crews. Terry Crews is too old to play Luke Cage. They want somebody young. They want somebody in mid-20s.
Then let's Tay Diggs.
Tay Diggs is in his mid-30s. They're going to have to get somebody new, some new talent, and they'll figure it out. They'll make sense. Anyways, we're going a little over, but that's fine. We're going to just keep this show rolling.
All right.
I'm excited about that Netflix deal. Let's talk more about it when it finally comes to fruition.
Okay, can I drop one piece of news on you? I
Quick,
realized
yeah,
today
drop it.
is that one that we've been waiting for years. Preacher is confirmed being in the hands of AMC, who brought in The Walking Dead. So the Vertigo series about the Reverend who has the voice of God.
But let me stop you right there.
Yes.
How many times have we been excited about Preacher
Oh.
and then let down about
I
Preacher?
know. You know what's going to let it down, though? Is that the person who seems to be in control of it right now
Oh, I heard.
is... Thank you, Seth Rogen. So I like Seth Rogen, and I think Seth Rogen as Jesse Custer is the worst choice in the history
Wait,
of
he's
bad
not
casting.
he's just gonna produce it, right? He wants to act in
I'm
it?
I'm afraid.
He can't be Jesse Custer.
He can't be.
That
I
would
don't want
be-
it to be
Did
happening
I
that
say
way.
Custard or Custer? It's Custer, right?
Did you have dinner?
I don't know. I haven't. Anyways.
Okay, so...
You know what? Preacher is awesome, and I think it could work on AMC, especially after what they've shown they can do with Walking Dead.
mm-hmm.
Let's hope the same production mind meets them, because then it might be okay. But however, The Walking Dead,
I want it to happen. I don't think I want it to happen with Seth Rogen on screen.
I hope if Seth Rogen comes on as a producer, using his background and his money and his clout,
Yes.
then maybe we will get a good show.
Okay,
We'll
maybe. So let's
All
go
right.
to your next thing.
The next thing we're gonna do real quickly, and we're gonna have to go over this episode. I don't care, Derek. We're gonna drive till the wheels roll off. Our next topic we're gonna talk about real fast is we want to know what's better on TV right now. We've got 2 superhero shows on the air, one from Marvel Comics, one from DC Comics, and we want to put it out there. Which one are we liking better? We have Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. continuing on from the successful Avengers franchise featuring, what's Phil Coulson's, what's his real name? Clark Gregg?
Yes.
Greg Clark?
No, Clark Gregg.
Channing Tatum?
No,
Channing?
no.
I don't know. Anyways, so it's got, their little team of little teeny boppers that are supposed to be S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And they're going around. They got hunky beefcakes and everything else. And then the other show we want to talk about is Arrow, DC's kind of TV version of Green Arrow, featuring the lovely Summer Glau. And
Suddenly we're distracted.
we're looking at the monitor.
And the lovely Stephen Amell.
Yes, and my favorite Manu Bennett, who was at the end there. He was from
yes.
Spartacus. I don't know if you've paid attention to him. Anyways,
well, he's Deathstroke. He's awesome.
Yes, he came out. Well, not came out as Deathstroke, but yeah, it was revealed that he is Slade as Deathstroke. So, anyways, Derek, give me your quick 2-second, or give me 2-line take of both shows that you've seen or that you've appreciated.
Well, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the show in which everybody says, stick with it, it's got potential. But no one seems to like the show it actually is.
That's true.
Arrow is a show that I thought was going to be stupid because I really liked the way they had treated Green Arrow on Smallville, and I wanted a spin-off of that.
Right.
Instead of a complete rethinking, which is what they did with Arrow.
Right.
So I know that you have a man crush on Arrow as a show.
Because there are women on that show,
If it
too.
was a man, you would marry it. I think so, because you are weekly telling me, dude, have you caught up on Arrow yet?
I think it's a fun show. I mean, I too was expecting it to be crap because it's on the CW, and the only thing I've seen from them is Vampire Diaries and Beverly Hills 90210.
Why were you watching those shows?
Well, no, I'm just saying that's what I know they produce. Didn't they also put out the
you went
Wayans
too
brothers?
Far. You went too far.
Either way. So I was hesitant, but after watching the show Arrow, believe me, it's not high art. I don't think either show is high art.
I want something frothy and pulpy, and to make me enjoy myself for an hour.
And I think that
or 44 minutes if I pre-recorded it and can fast forward through.
Sure, exactly. But I think it's growing as a series. I feel like it's developing all its different characters, and the coolest thing about it is it's bringing more fanboy Easter eggs and cameos than Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
So far.
From a payout point of view, I think it's really...
Well, we say that this is the week. We're recording this on Monday night, and Tuesday night is the episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. that is supposed to tie directly into Thor, the Dark
right.
World.
But do you think Thor is going to show up?
No.
Maybe
unless it's the actor currently appearing at Disneyland.
Right. They're going to find an elf mask, maybe...
It's a staff. I saw something. I saw a preview. They showed a staff.
They'll find something, but it's one of those where it just doesn't pay off as much, which I think for Arrow, the way it's working a little better is that they don't have a blockbuster movie that they have to kowtow to. They don't have a mythology that they have to... Like, even the cool thing, though, there's a little spoiler alert. They do hint at League of Shadows, which ties into the Dark Knight movies. So they are tying into that universe.
You know, what I like about Arrow is that it is the one DC film television project right now that seems to have a plan. That each season is going to be an arc. Like, I guess this season went forward in time a little bit, so time had passed. He'd grown from being just the vigilante known as the Hood,
right?
And
now he's the Arrow.
He's accepting being the Arrow, and forgot the Arrow who happens to be green. The Arrow, what is green? Something like that.
So anyways, so in my opinion, I think that Arrow right now is a stronger show. Granted, Arrow, it's in its second season. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is only in its first. Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the one thing it's got going for it, Ming-Na Wen. I love her. And
Phil Coulson.
Okay. Well, either way.
No.
Last story of the night. Something cool happened, just in general, a cool thing, but it was also a geeky thing, and it was also a heart-melting, wonderful thing.
I like that we get to start this with what could be a weekly feature called Geek of the Week.
Geek of the Week. Our Geek of the Week this week is the amazing and wonderful. I hope I got his name right because I don't have anything prepared. Miles Scott, is that his name?
I think so.
He's known to the world as Batkid.
He's Batkid.
And this story just took the world, right, by storm, at least the internet.
It really seems so. I can't, even people that, they're like hardened. It's amazing to see on Facebook.
Facebook blew up, Twitter blew up.
Like, all this dust in my eyes. What is going on?
Right. But I mean,
the internet wept with joy.
Right, but the president of the United States, did a
Vine. Did a Vine.
I mean, the guy is busy
Can't
trying
figure
to
out other technology, but he figured out Vine.
Right.
Makes you feel pretty good about it.
Exactly. He can't fix the website, but he can stop and say, "Way to go, Batkid." But I mean, honestly, to be a geek in this world, and also,
I cry that we've lived long enough for something like this to happen.
Right. And here's kind of the one thing I wanted to point out is that, would this have been as big if he wanted to be Thor? You know what I mean? Like, so I think, so this gives a little power to the power of the character and the mythology of Batman.
I saw an interview today with Christian Bale, and he said that it proves, like, if you watch interviews with Christian Bale, who's so clearly tired of talking about any movie he's ever been in,
right.
But when they ask him about Batkid, he lights up, and he's actually gets to say, it's just like, the symbol, which is actually what Dark Knight was about, is that the symbol is far more important than who's playing him, who's there. And so this kid can be Batman, and we believe it. But what I think is so important is 11,000 people volunteered to help create this fantasy. And I'd say conservative, liberal, everybody came together to tell this 5-year-old life isn't pain.
Right. Exactly, and
that's what makes me cry about it.
But
I guess, why can't we do that and solve actual problems?
Right.
but anyway, that's
But I guess my point of it is that, and yes, I mean, you're going to hear everybody talking about the obvious, story that's there. The story I wanted to kind of investigate was that, like I said, the power of this character. You're like, do 11,000 people know other heroes? No. 11,000 people are familiar with Batman, are familiar with the mythology. They know who the Penguin is. They know who the Riddler is.
And whoever played the Riddler, man, he channeled Frank Gorshin.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, so I think it says, and the one thing I did not hear in any of these stories that were going on the news every Friday night or whatever, not once, I don't know if you heard it, maybe you heard it. Did DC Comics make any comment on it?
Nope.
Yeah, so usually when you're going to throw out that much, let's say trademark merchandising, everything else, you're almost kind of like, did we go through...
Would you want to be in
a-hole
like that?
Exactly. So I'm just saying, I thought it was kind of interesting that Warner Brothers, no statement. DC Comics, no statement. I think actually on DC Comics Facebook, there's a Batman, follow Batman on Facebook. Yeah. They actually had a comment. We're really happy that,
Yeah,
Batman,
well, I mean, because the reality is it is so hard to explain to children in particular copyright law.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but that's the beauty of this whole thing is that
why Batman and Spider-Man can't team up in real life.
Exactly. But I guess that's my point is that Friday copyright law was for
well,
not
that's
forbidden.
What it is.
Just,
You're right. No,
conquered,
there are certain characters that have transcended who owned them.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, this proves that Batman is bigger than the Beatles.
Bigger than I won't say it.
Just that's why I went with the Beatles.
Bigger than Kanye.
That's where I. Ooh,
anyways.
Oh wow.
So I thought it was an amazing thing. Way to go, Batkid. We loved it. It was awesome. And I thought that was an amazing thing. And so for sure, Miles Scott, you get our first Geek of the Week.
Unless we have your name wrong, in which case we're going to give it to the actual.
Then we'll just give it to Batkid.
So.
Anyways, well, I think we've overstepped our boundaries way over than we originally included for, but I think we had a very interesting chat tonight, Derek. Thank you for joining us.
Just a minute.
I know it's
whizzed
over
by.
before it even began.
Oh,
So
this is why my podcast is so dang long.
yeah. So once again, we just want to thank everybody for watching. Be sure to check us out on our own individual websites. I think he's on you, Derek, so we should talk to you.
Okay.
Wait, now he's okay. Now he's,
Great.
also, just check us out on Twitter. We're at MoronLife, and you're at
Fanboy Planet on Twitter. And you can also check it out at www.fanboyplanet.com for news, articles, observations, videos, and, of course, the Fanboy Planet podcast.
And also, if you liked what you saw or you had a question or something you wanted to chime in at, send us a direct message on our Twitter or...
I'm just learning about this DM thing, yes.
Yeah,
In my day, it was Dungeon Master. Now you
Right.
direct message. It's not so geeky.
So hit us up if you have a question. We'll try to answer it next week on Moron versus Fanboy. That's our show for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Also, we want to send out a special thanks to our director tonight, Rudy Loyda. Woo-hoo! Thanks for running the board. Good job. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot. This is Moron versus Fanboy. Good night.